Get your water because it's gonna be comedy tonight too.
Look, Marty is starting us out with some gospel.
It's yeah.
He went way back with that one.
At least he is familiar.
I have to because if I don't, they gonna mute it. Anything newer, they gonna mute it.
That's true. That's true. That's a church march right there.
Bruce Carroll said, "What's up, y'all?"
What's happening, Bruce?
What up, Bruce? We don't accept interruption by non-Greeks.
Hey man, don't do that. He's a straight up alpha.
My statement remains.
Bruce, there you go, messing somebody's name up here. That's Emmett Lee. That's Dr. Lee.
He on Facebook or Instagram?
We on Facebook and YouTube. What's up, everybody? Thank y'all for joining in tonight to Real Talk with Pastor Marty Peters. And today is November the 18th in the year of our Lord 2023. We're at the end of the year. And a couple of times throughout the year, I reach across the country. The Lord has blessed me to know a lot of people. And tonight I wanted to focus on the Divine Nine. And I have some of my good friends, some of my closest friends from all over the country on here tonight. And we just going to go down the line. We're going to go with Dr. Emmett Lee. All of these men, great men, nobody on here besides me have under a master's degree. All of these great men of God have earned degrees, and I appreciate them. But Hodges, myself, and Emmett Lee were all in school together at the same time. Hodges, you remember that note I left on your
I committed to not remember it for the reasons that you have matured and your ministry is taking you across the country. I just told the Lord that I'd let him deal with you according to Revelation 20.
Y'all go ahead and greet the people. Y'all members on here. It's on y'all Facebook page and everything though. But Hodges drove a truck that reached halfway across the campus, y'all, and he was blocking the driveway one day. Marable, you know what I'm talking about, Marable.
Sound about right.
I left him a nice letter and asked him to please not park that truck right there anymore, because people with smaller cars and bigger cars was having a hard time trying. Emmett, you remember that day?
with scriptures inscribed on the side of the truck.
And he's parked illegally. Since I picked on you first, come on, man. Greet everybody and tell everybody hello, man.
Hello, everybody. I am thankful and grateful to be with my friend and brother for 20 plus years, Marty Peters, and with my other brothers, Emmett Lee, James Marable, and D.L. Chaney. Grateful for the opportunity to share and to spread the kind of love and value and wisdom and knowledge that helps empower lives.
Yeah, come on, Emmett. I enshrine you in with my nonsense with Hodges.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Emmett Lee, and I am from the Akron, Northeast Ohio. And Marty Peters would say Barberton, and yeah, him and Heels would say Barberton. And so we thank God for just our friendship, and as BK said, just giving us those connections over the years since 1997, and I will not share how we met, but it was a great day.
Yeah, Marable, come on, man.
My name is James Marable. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. My church ministry is just south of the city of Atlanta. I am ecstatic and elated to be here with my friend and my brother, Marty Peters. I met Marty. I think I was done with seminary when I met Marty, but it was in the 90s, I believe. Early 2000s, Marty, maybe.
It was the late 90s.
Yeah, late 90s.
You and Purvis and them all went to school with Ambrose.
Right, correct. And so I've admired and followed his ministry since that time, and I'm excited that he's brought us together, these brothers. I'm excited about these other brothers that I've met tonight, the two new brothers that I'm meeting tonight, new friends. I'm excited about them, and of course, I've been friends with B. Keith Hodges for 30 plus years, so I'm just excited to be here tonight.
Yeah. Now, I've only been knowing Chaney about 15 years, though, but that's a good dude right there, man. And I got one of God's greatest preachers. Chaney, come on, man.
I'm glad you ain't telling lies tonight. I'm glad you ain't telling lies. You are good.
Chaney, the night is still young.
Yeah, we got to go pray already. We got to pray. Listen, 15 years ago, ladies and gentlemen, I met Marty Peters. We just connected, even though we don't talk frequently. He's a good brother, good friend. Just so privileged to meet these brothers tonight. Some of you I've known by name, and we probably met crossing paths at some conference or convention or whatever it is. But it's just good to be here, really, to talk about what we talk about and do what we need to do. I am in Las Vegas. We're in the midst of Formula One. We got it on and popping in this city. Y'all know, y'all don't come to Vegas to church. Y'all come to turn up and everything. It's all good. I understand, but good to be here tonight, bro.
So you all, as you can see, all of us have our different colors on tonight. We're a part of an organization that makes up our fraternities called the Divine Nine, which there are 9 Black or African American fraternities and sororities. And you can see our colors. You see black and gold. You see red and white. You see purple and gold. You see blue and white. And there's no competition. We all love our fraternity, or we would call it AKA our frat. We all do community service. We're all active and faithful to our Greek organizations. And I thought it would be nice if we can put our Bibles down for a few moments and let me do a mental check-in with my brothers across the country. Next week, I will have the ladies on. I will have AKAs on. I will have Deltas on, Zetas, and Sigma Gamma Rho, and to check on them. All of us pastor. We are 5 pastors. None of us pastor in the same city, although Hodges and Marable are in the same state. But their churches are probably at least an hour to an hour and 15 minutes, maybe an hour.
Mine is in Jerusalem, his is in Jericho, and that's enough.
Get him, Marable, get him, Marable, get him.
Oh my gosh.
Listen.
What is missed in the wash, Grandmama say, to come out in the ringer.
Yes, sir.
Marty put it this way: Jesus told a parable of a man that had 2 sons. The younger of him asked for his portion of goods and traveled into a far country. Talking about the city Marable, Pastor.
Hodges, remember our conversation on the golf course yesterday? You're doing good, sir. You worked.
Oh, he threw in the towel, Marable. He threw in the towel.
Yeah. I have stuff in my back pocket.
Right.
Who won the game yesterday, Marable? Never mind.
Yesterday. I think Hodges did yesterday.
Oh, okay. Is that often, or is that not often?
Well, he's decent. He has his moments. I'm gaining on him though.
You know, when I was there, I used to golf with Hamner and Steve Hall. And
Hamner was with us yesterday.
Huh?
Hamner was with us yesterday.
Is he any better?
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's gotten better.
Oh yeah.
Dog, because I remember him and Steve used to hit houses and all that stuff out there in Conyers, dog.
That's all of our testimony.
Oh, okay.
Right.
All right, just making sure. Chaney, I know they got some good fairways and some greens in Vegas. You golf?
Look here, I'm just starting, so I ain't gonna let y'all whoop up on me like that.
Yeah,
it's a part of the process, bro.
Yeah,
it is. That's true. That's
the initiation. All of us went through it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
We were just talking about Vegas yesterday, Hodges. Remember we were talking about the awesome. I've never played golf in Vegas, but I hear it's great golf out there.
Well, see, I done connected y'all now. Y'all got a brother. I done just connected y'all. Y'all got a brother in Vegas.
Chaney, I was preaching in Norfolk at the beginning of October, and pastor said, "I heard you golf. Bring your clubs. I'm gonna drag you." He just going on and on. You know what he gonna do to me? And I brought my clubs, and he was like, "Doc, where your ball at?" I said, "Another 60 yards ahead of yours." What shot is that for you? I said, "That's my drive."
You got it.
I drug him. Remember, I drug him so hard, he all of a sudden had a meeting he had to go to.
See,
hilarious.
This is why I got us together, because man, you know, we don't. It's the end of the year. People are dying left and right, and Chaney and I are funeral directors in our cities. Man, I work for the. I believe we are the busiest funeral home. If we're not, we're the number 2, and we do about 500 a year. We're very busy. We've had 10 funerals this week, so I was so glad that I was off today and got a chance to go pick up some groceries and take them to my parents' house and stuff like that. I'm still blessed with now, y'all. Daddy is 90 now, and so they're not driving. They're not driving anymore, so
they don't need to drive.
Well, you can't tell my daddy that, but
right.
No, I was saying that out of respect. I'm just saying,
no,
earn the right not to drive.
No, that ain't why daddy. That ain't why daddy ain't driving. Daddy ain't driving because
man, I'm trying to clean it up, man. I'm trying to clean it up.
You don't have to clean it up. My brother and our sister, we don't want my daddy driving, but he wants to drive.
Of course he does.
Yeah, he wants to drive that little last independence. Independence. But we need this laughter tonight. Lee, how are you doing, man? What's going on in Barberton, man? How are you doing? How are you holding up? How's your church doing? Have people started coming back to church yet? That's my question. All y'all, Poison Ivy said, "What's up, y'all?"
What's
up, Michelle? Hey, excuse. What's up? But she got all the colors of it. Y'all see? That's my district director's sister. Brother Ryan McQuarrie, who was the district director of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. She got all the colors up here, y'all. Look at it. Look at it. Can y'all see your screen? She got the colors over here. She got all the D9 colors. Thanks, Michelle. Emmett, come on, man. How are you doing? How are you doing with your health, your weight, your eating? What's going on with you, man?
You know what, man? I am in a good space. I think all of us have had to readjust and reassess ministry, and from a holistic perspective, not just church, but from a mental health, self-care, and I think this pandemic has shown us a whole lot, and about faithfulness and commitment to ministry and things of that nature. And so, as far as me, I'm in a good space. I'm learning how to reassess me, my ministry, family, taking time out for me, which is a hard thing for the average pastor, because we're so focused on outwardly serving people that sometimes we're the last ones that we think about. And so I have a good team of friends who constantly remind me. And once I cross 50, things look a little different. Ministry looks a lot different. You start having friends going home to meet the Lord, and you start getting people. Parents are getting older, and we're now becoming them. And most of us have to attest that we're either at halftime or the third quarter. And most of us know that if you ever play sports, those are game making or game breaking moments. And so just really, Pete, just taking time to laugh more, and being intentional about things, being intentional about taking time out for self, and just trying to enjoy life the best of our ability. Doing this, when you told me who was going to be on here, I was like, okay. I was like, listen, I knew it was going to be some laughter that's going on, and especially being coming from Bennett Hall, watch it. Absolutely. We know about having a good time. So I think, and as we go along, we'll probably, some more things will probably come up that we all deal with. The church is doing pretty good. We're actually trying, and I think all of us are still trying to figure out how to minister to two different congregations. That group that loves the brick and mortar, and then that other group that's cool watching us while they're eating bacon and eggs or at brunch. And so trying to find that space, because the church and the look of the church is changing. And if we don't come to some type of conclusion, we'll be frustrated. It's going to be a long journey, So, you know, I tell people the coming back, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing as of yet, because the church is always evolving. You know, it has always evolved. We're just in that period, in that window of the new evolution. And for many of us, it's kind of uncomfortable because we grew up with the old church. You know, we grew up when people went to church. You know, coming from Atlanta, when I was down at ITC, people went to church.
Right.
You know, you get in certain spaces, certain parts of the country on Sunday. That's what they do.
Yep.
Now, you know, they got options. And so how does the church move forward, and how do we reformat, reset? So, you know, I think this, even with some laughter, I think this is going to be therapeutic too for all of us, you know.
Yeah. Marable, come on, jump in. How are you? How is Bethel? How are you mentally, physically, emotionally? What's going on with you right now? Is anybody in therapy? I'm not opposed to therapy, y'all. I'm gonna say that tonight. Good.
Oh man, listen, look, Dr. Jonathan Jackson told us that before he left. He said, you better get you a good therapist. If you know, because who tows the tow truck?
Yeah,
a bigger tow truck.
Right.
Go ahead, Marable.
But no, man, I'm well and intentionally attentive to maintaining me. I think, you know, with the line of work we do, there are certain things I believe that have to be non-negotiables. And I think one of those is at the top of the list is maintaining and paying attention to your well-being on all levels. I think somebody mentioned, spoke of holistic a moment ago. That I think because we carry the weight of our congregations, especially those of us who really care and love people. And you can't help but internalize that. So it's important to have space to maintain your well-being. So for me, I'm very intentional about having space to unwind. I don't negotiate that, because for me, my whole life, I think we have to be careful as pastors. For me, not to wrap our entire lives around ministry.
Yeah.
I like other things. I love the Lord. I love preaching. I love pastoring, but I love other things. So I work really hard trying to live a balanced life, and that keeps me centered, for lack of a better word. And so I'm big on that. The church is doing well. I pastor a church. Just celebrated my 29th year. I don't pastor in Atlanta. I pastor in a small setting. And I ran across this quote many years ago. I probably was at ITC, bloom where you're planted.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm okay with pastoring in the small rural setting.
Yeah.
My church has taken care of me these years, and I'm okay. I'm secure in who I am. Insecurity kills Black preachers in my estimation.
Yeah.
And whenever we're insecure, we run the risk of not being our authentic self and trying to fit in with somebody else, trying to do what somebody else does, in competition. All of that happens a lot amongst African American clergy, in my estimation. So, man, I'm secure in who I am, secure with what God has given me, trying to work to the best of my ability, the work that God has entrusted to my hands, and being honest with my people, being transparent with my people to a degree, of course. It's that kind of balance. I don't trade myself and my people as being Jesus. I'm not him.
Right.
So I have imperfections, and I've had some challenges in my life along the way. I'm sure, as most of us have, in ministry. And I think one of the things that has kept me seated in my church is that my people appreciate my transparency.
Yeah.
So I don't have to hide that I smoke cigars. My church know I smoke cigars.
Yeah.
So, man, just being real, man. And I'm finding out more, and I'm gonna shut up, that especially the younger generation, they appreciate you being, as they say, 100.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't lose their respect for you. Hey, you're in the press too. You're the pastor, but you're in the press too. You're in the process of becoming too. You're working to be better tomorrow than you were today too. And people appreciate that, man. So I'm good, man, and working on trying to get even better, man.
Yeah. Appreciate your transparency. I'm with you with that. My church loves my transparency. I keep it real with my church. And we're growing together, man. We thank God for that. When my children's mother died a year ago, I stood up in front of my church. Like, we just on a year. My adult children's mother passed, man. 49 years old from a massive heart attack. I stood up in front of my church and said, I'm not okay.
Right.
I'm not okay. And what did my church say? Pastor, we know you're not okay. Y'all were friends for over 30 years. She was a member of our church. You guys co-parent together, and you guys was raising grandchildren together. So my church knew it, and they appreciate it. They appreciate it. They appreciate it. My niece is sitting right here. She's my engineer. And my niece just told me a few minutes ago, Uncle Marty, I want you to go to therapy because, Doc, we're in the process of buying this building, Doc. And it's over $500,000. That's a lot of money in Oakland, California. And people have not started coming back to church yet, man. And I got to make a decision if we going all out like that, and if we really, 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 really want to do that. And so Doc, I'm not okay. I've been fasting, I've been praying, I've been quiet, I haven't been talking to many people because this is a major decision I have to make. So I appreciate you, Emmett. I appreciate you, Marable. Come on, Chaney.
Yeah, it's just true. When we talk about this level of transparency, what does that mean? That means peeling back the layers, brothers, as we look at our lives and ministry. I'm a son of a preacher, pastored 56 years, Carolina, Philly. I was born in Philly, but my own journey being I'm a retired Air Force chaplain. So I'm a Desert Storm veteran. So there was a whole lot of stuff that I need to deal with that I could take it to God, but I needed some professional help. So I really agree with therapy, and that's what's needed if we're really going to just deal with the issues that we face and just dealing with ourselves. We talk about being transparent with members, knowing that most of them might not be transparent with us because they're hiding behind a mask. So how do you just deal with that? And I realize that a lot of that is just being an empath. I'm an empath, that I take on others' feelings and responsibilities and all this other stuff, and I just feel weighted by having to do that. So I had to learn, just like Brother Lee has said, man, I had to learn in Marable just really to look out, put me first. That's really the biggest thing I've done after being in ministry almost 30 years. Finally put me first. Went through some transitions about 5 years ago here in Las Vegas. Everything was rolling 1 minute. We looking good. Everything is popping. And then all of a sudden things shift. and how to deal with that, I really started hitting the therapist twice a week. So that's just really my transparent moment. And not just that, I got my wife. She's a vice chancellor at Southern University. So she's in Baton Rouge.
She's an AKA too. She's an AKA too.
Yeah, she's AKA. So, it's just all these compounding dynamic, really, man.
I love your wife, man. That's my sister.
I know you do. I know everybody loves her. She keep it raw and uncut. She's from Augusta, Georgia.
Yeah,
yeah. She don't play
no from a different cloth, dog. She is crazy and funny.
Yeah. She crazy for real. So that's what it is.
Man, I'm talking about my sister like
that.
Oh, she know after 20 plus years, 25 plus years of marriage, she know. But just, started a ministry here, the Renaissance Fellowship, some 5 years ago. It's been, things looking good, gentlemen. But then what happens? COVID hits. But we really can't place it on COVID, can we? Because folk were doing some stuff before COVID even came in. They decided what they were going to do. And they realized when we push this online platform, that's when we gave people an out. We told them, we say, hey, you don't really have to come to church to worship. You can worship online. You can give online. So we kind of helping that whole mantra. And now I'm dealing with all these sports coming in, the A's coming over here now. So it's just a whole hot mess.
Yeah, y'all got our leftovers.
Bruh, it's on and popping though, I'm telling you.
The Raiders and the A's are the Oakland A's and the Oakland Raiders leftovers. It's
They did. I'm a PSL owner for the Raiders, so y'all come through. We can go to a game or something like that. I don't really like them. I do it for business, but that's part of my therapy. When we look at it, and you talking about golfing, I'm trying to learn, really put myself first. But I like attending concerts, sporting events. So I've really been very transparent and intentional about that.
Good. Good. Hodges, come on, man. How are you? You look good, boy. I love the beard, man. It look like you keeping your weight down, man. How are you doing mentally, physically? How's gathering doing?
You don't see him up close.
Payback, Hodges. Payback, man.
Hey, you said he got the camera. It's not on Zoom.
Yeah.
No.
What say you, Hodges?
I am going to address that later. I'm fantastic. As a matter of fact, I don't know that I've been better at any other period or dispensation in my life. I have a couple of things to say, somatic practices, if you will. One, I practice the Sabbath every week. I have a 6-day life, and I commit to only ever have a 6-day life. I don't have a 7-day life. My week starts on Saturday and ends on Thursday. Friday, I take off. I do recreational activities. I golf with a group of my brothers and friends. I spend time the entire day recentering and to use that somatic practice to help me find equilibrium and balance. In 2016, I hit a snag. In 2017, it got worse. In 2018, it became a spiral. And throughout the discourse of those 3 years, I prayed to the Lord and I said, Lord, I just need to know, where do I need to be? And the Lord had to remind me, he said, you don't take a Sabbath. He said, you're so plugged in that you never unplug. And he reminded me that his paradigm was creating the heavens and earth in 6 days and resting on the Sabbath, not because he was tired, but he rested to create a paradigm for humanity, to remind us that we are not machines. And we live in a world of hyperactivity, that everything is always going. We live in a world of glutton saturation. Everything is at our fingertips. And we have to be intentional about pulling back. It was the practice of the Sabbath that helped save me emotionally, helped save me professionally, helped save me relationally. It is the practice of the Sabbath. And so now it's such a part of my life. Every week, I look forward to it. And there are weeks that, maybe travel or something precludes me from having it. So I just shift it to another day. Instead of skipping it, I just shift it to another day. And to be the real currency of the human experience, especially for the African-American pastor, the real currency is consistency. That's the real We have to learn to be consistent enough about those things that help us to be recentered, recalibrated, renewed, revived, restored, rejuvenated. Those things go nowhere. And we have to be intentional about it. And the more I'm intentional about it, the better I can help to reframe my experience. Like Marable, I don't have a big church, but I got big people in my church, and we're growing disciples. We don't just have people who are getting saved. We have disciples and gathering of champions, and with a smaller budget and a smaller congregation, because we have big people there and we have a strategy, we were able to pay all our church's debts off. And that, for some people, that's not a big feat. For me, that's a huge feat, because it shows us what happens, not in the quantity, but in the quality. And you'll always miss that quality if you're exhausted. The other thing is, I turned 50 and nobody told me at 50 you will lose your fear and your filter. And
wow,
the most liberating thing that has happened to me is I've lost my fear and I lost my filter.
That's good, man.
Oh yeah. I love it.
I'll be 55 in December. I get
it.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I will next year.
When's your birthday, Chaney?
December 15th.
December 23rd.
And both of y'all will be 55.
I'll be 56.
Oh, so Marable, you it's Marable, Chaney, me, Emmett, then Hodges in age. Y'all, it's a bunch of pastors on here. Bishop Thomas is on here.
Tell them to hell at us, man.
Michael Nesby is on here. Pastor Ty Wheelock is on there. Ambrose Carroll is on there. Elliot Ivy is on here. Pastor David Brooks is on here. Pastor Edward Scott is on here. Y'all say hello to all of the pastors that are watching across the country, y'all.
What up, everybody? Blue Five.
Peter.
What's up,
Bishop Thomas?
I know my mentee is on Deshaun Horn, Reno, Nevada, Second Baptist. He's on.
Okay. Hey, what's up, Deshaun? What's up, Pastor? You the oldest on here. Marable.
Who?
You.
Me.
You about to be 50s? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I'm the oldest. Yeah, I'm the oldest.
I thought you was about to go down there. I thought you was about to mess with that boy down there with that blue and white on.
Nah, well. I mean, I know the people watching it. They probably looking like Marable, the oldest. Boy.
Zoom in.
Y'all young boys got something to shoot for.
Hey, that's it, man. I tell them. We gotta watch that weight, though, man. We gotta watch that weight.
Sure.
Watch what we eat, nutrition.
Yeah. Oh, Aaron Bird is on here, y'all. Bird talking about y'all. Oh, whatever, Bird.
Tell them that this is a Pan-Hellenic gathering, and non-Greeks can't message.
Hey,
I'm with you on that one, Hodge. I'm with you.
But we are taking some. We are taking some invites if somebody need. I turned it on the other side so it's neutral. Whichever one of y'all can get it, I'll pass it to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I got mine.
I'm not messing with y'all. So y'all, let me ask y'all this. It's been so many pastors in the last 4 to 5 years that have committed suicide, that have left the ministry, that have stopped pastoring, stopped preaching, stopped going to church. What is it about us, no matter how large our churches are? No, that ain't Bird, y'all. That's Big Aaron. That's Big Jones.
Bishop.
No matter how small or how large our churches are, I think none of us pastor a mega church. I don't. How is it that we keep going, and how is it that we're at that point that we're not going to take our lives and we're going to stand and see what God is going to do through us, how God is going to raise us Because y'all, I've decided if you can pastor in California, Las Vegas, you can pastor anywhere.
Yes, sir.
If you can pastor in the Bay Area, which is known in Southern Baptist as the graveyard for pastor. You know, Morris Brown is AME. So when I know some AME guys come out here and they come to some churches out here, I was like, hey man, what you do to the bishop? Because he brought you out here to die.
Yeah.
You done pissed the bishop
off. You done did something, bro.
If you in Oakland, you done made Richmond, you done made the bishop, you done made the presiding elder and your Episcopal district bishop upset. Go ahead. Anybody can jump in.
I think it circles back to what we've kind of mentioned already, and it's the whole balance piece. I heard someone mention a moment ago about I think it was Chaney and his love for sports. I too, Hodges, don't you say a word. I love sports. I have other interests that allows me space mentally, emotionally to I think Hodges mentioned it about his Sabbath to unplug, man.
Yeah.
And I think one of the dangers is getting having your entire identity wrapped around the fact that you're a preacher.
Yeah.
Your entire identity wrapped around church and ministry. Yeah. Man, enjoy your life.
Yeah.
Right.
And go to the concert, like as Chaney said, go to the game, laugh with your friends, find other affections, man, other than ministry. Because if ministry is all you got, the only thing that captures your mind, you're running the risk of burnout.
Yeah, I think Marty, that we all have to remember what our moorings are. That's what keeps us in times that we're drifting. I used to have a boat. I used to have a speedboat, and I would take it out on Lake Allatoona or Lake Lanier, and I'd go sometimes up into a little inlet, and I drop the anchor. Now, let me tell you what the anchor doesn't do. The anchor doesn't stop the boat from moving. It just stops the boat from moving far. It's our moorings that help us. It helps us so that we only drift so far. And I think that's the thing that validates and also energizes us, that we have moorings. We have certain things in our lives that we can go to that allow us to have respite and then to come to a place where we can recenter. And even after a bad event or bad scenario, I honestly, earnestly, and I'll just put it out there, I went through a very bad divorce. I got served in 2016, and it spiraled downward. I had people who believed whatever was being said about me, but I kept myself together. I kept myself. Now, here's where it's going to get a little sticky, and we got to hear it, that it's God in us, not just God.
Yeah.
The Lord, but it is God in us working in collaboration. God's perfect will worked in my life because I was willing to also use gift, talent, ability, skill set, knowledge, wisdom, emotional equilibrium, etc., to put myself back in place. How did I know? This is no kidding. How did I know that with my whole notion of working through this divorce and getting our church out of debt, we had a debt of $6,500 left. We had paid off 2 properties and a van and a couple of other items. We paid them all off in the span of 30 months. On the December 31st, we had a $6,500 debt. I'm leaving our church after I preached our watch night, going to another church. A lady hands me a check for $6,500. Nobody could have told me that March 1st, we would have had to shut down nationally.
Yeah.
COVID. We had paid I had no idea it was coming. We had paid all our debts off. Now, let me tell you why I made that point. Because if it wasn't for having equilibrium and balance through keeping a Sabbath, somatic practices, and the moorings of my life, I would have lost it and threw my hands up. And our church would have been in a tailspin. We just crossed 155 years, and we're healthier today than we've ever been because of what happens when you work with God and you are intentional about your consistency.
Yeah, I agree. Hodge, let me ask you this question. When you went to your divorce, did you lose a lot of members? Because I lost over 50, 60 people when I went through my divorce.
I did not lose a lot, but I did lose several. I didn't lose a lot, but I lost 10 or 12.
Yeah, you got to take your mind up a little higher. I literally lost 50, 60 people. Somewhere in between 50 and 60.
Mm-hmm.
I lost. And guess what, y'all? This is funny. This is funny as heck. Half of the people that left had already been through a divorce. So I'm like, y'all can't sympathize with me, but I sympathize with y'all and I walk through y'all with y'all. Well, anyway, it was a blessing with them leaving because sometimes some people got to leave your church so God can bless your church.
Yeah. You know, Marty, I was going to say, when you was asking your question as far as what keeps us going, big on relationships, you know, out in the church and outside of the church. That was one of the things that my therapist said. He says, "Hey, what do you do outside of the church?" He said, "Not with your." He said, "Not with your men's ministry." He said, "I know you love to hang out with them. Not with, you know." He said, "I'm talking about what do you do?" And it's so ironic that you have the Greeks on today. One day I was sitting around and I said, "Man, I haven't been active in years because when I was in Atlanta, some things had happened, and then I ended up moving back." And I said, "Man, I'm like a bad church member." I said, "Man, I was online. I got smashed up. I pledged hard, and now I'm inactive." I said, "What sense does that make?" And it hit me one day. I said, "Man, I'm going back to get active. I'm gonna get active." And I went back to the chapter, and it was so ironic. As I was sitting in the meeting, it was like the Spirit said to me, "This is where you could be normal."
Mm-hmm.
He said, "This is where you." So when I go to the meeting, you go to the meeting. Most of you all know it's not, Doctor, it's not Dr. Hodges, Dr. Marable. It's brother Hodges, brother Emmett, or brother Brian, or brother. When you go to the frat meetings, because you got judges, doctors, all types of people, and we're not driven by titles. And so I remember they asked me, they said, "Hey Doc, you want to be the chaplain?" I said, "Absolutely not."
Right. Yeah.
Look, they said, "You want to be the?" I said, "Absolutely not." He said, "Well," and they looked at me kind of strange. I said, "Man, that's what I do all day, every day."
All day.
I said, they said, "Do you want to?" They said, "Do you want to hold an office?" I said, "Absolutely not." Marty, you'll appreciate this. They said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I want to sit in the back and heckle y'all."
Hey, bro.
Somebody got to do it.
I can relate to that, man. About 3 Saturdays ago, I was at a send-off celebration for a friend of mine's child, and I had been there for a moment. I'm not a drinker per se. I will have a drink occasionally, and so I was enjoying the fellowship, and they were getting ready to have prayer, and somebody said, "Oh, we have a pastor here," and I'm like, listen, James is here.
Where is the pastor's not here?
Yeah, James is here. It's like, I want to be not
normal
tied
today,
to title or my profession. I just want to be like you said, brother. I want to be normal, man. I get it. I get it. And so I want to be one of the guys. That's it.
And so that's what being active in the frat helped me. Because I can go to the meeting, I can go laugh, sit in the back, heckle people. I could tell them that they don't know Robert Rules of Order. I could tell I could tell them, no, you don't make a motion there. You could do all this silly stuff. And the funny thing is when I go into the meeting, it's like a group. They just all come around because I pledged most of them. And so they know Emmett. You know, that not only do they know Pastor Emmett, Dr. Emmett, Bishop Emmett, they know Emmett. And so it gives me a chance to just go and just relax and be amongst, good people and laugh a little bit. And so I think when you start talking about a lot of people who are committing suicide and different things, it's so many variables to that, but I think a lot of it, when you start talking about that feeling of loneliness,
yeah,
and that feeling of them thinking that everything rests on their shoulders, and at the end of the day, we still have to remember this is the Lord's church.
Yeah.
This is not ours. All we are good stewards and managers of what He has placed us over. And I think when we start trying to take ownership, then we can start feeling like failures and start feeling like, and always being under the scrutiny of the public eye. And I think when Hodges said, once you turn 50, you kind of get to a certain space where it's like, hey, if you don't like me, that's cool.
Yeah.
If you like me, that's cool. That's wonderful. But if not, I promise you, I'm not going to lose any sleep. And but it takes some time to get to that space, though. And and some of those, when you start looking at some of the young guys who are killing themselves and doing things like that, they haven't gotten to that space. And how many of them actually have the blessing of knowing pastors like we do?
Right.
Because it could be, if you don't have, I have partners, that call me at least once a month, like, hey man, and we do check-ins like that, man. When the last time you seen your therapist?
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm like, what?
This is what this podcast is for tonight. I wanted to check on y'all to see how y'all doing.
Yeah.
We see each other on social media. That's one thing, but to pick up the phone and holler, and we're on here with a large audience tonight, and we're sitting here sharing our war stories, sharing, some personal things about us, is because we want people to be better, because we love people.
Yeah.
We love our ministry, stuff like that. Y'all, this is the honest God truth. I learned this from Joe Samuel Ratliff, Ralph West, and I think Maurice Watson does it. I know Ralph West and Ratliff told me this. You take 1 day a week for yourself, 1 week a month for yourself, and 1 month a year for yourself. And they believe in that principle, Doc. 1 day a week for yourself, 1 week a month for yourself, and 1 month a year for yourself.
I like it.
Because if we don't, Doc, we're gonna mess around and nut up. We're gonna mess around and bleed on somebody that didn't cause us to get cut.
And we have to be creative, because everybody may not have the liberality to have that stretch of time and the convenience, or don't have the budget to do that. But we do have the creativity to find out what matters. Me and Jay Marable, we golf every week with a group of guys, and you should see us texting, hey, where we going? What we doing? Where we playing? And we look forward to doing it. And now the consistency is so deep that it's rare any of us want to miss a week. And if we do, because of commitments and other things, when we get back together, we're like, bro, missed y'all last week, man. Let's, when we stay. And even we've been out sometimes in high 40s, low 50-degree weather, but because we were together, we were able to salvage that time. And it purposely took us away from doing anything that may have been labor intensive.
God bless
so now we were able to,
I don't feel that in my spirit,
center ourselves, celebrate ourselves.
Yeah, God bless y'all. I got a gift to protect out there. Y'all gonna be preaching horse and all that other stuff. But I appreciate
and to add to what Hodges said about our group, this is interesting. An interesting tidbit about our group. I don't know how long we had been together golfing, maybe 3-4 years, maybe as a group. But we came up with this thing where we put a limit on what we call preacher stories. Okay. Am I lying, Hodges? You got a couple of preacher stories about where you preached, who preached for you, about this text. Be like, no, you got 2, and we got somebody that if you go over, he pull your coat. Nope, that's it. No.
Yeah.
No, and I'm yeah. So it's like we guard and or protect the sanctity of that fellowship space of letting our hair down and enjoying laughing and enjoying our time of fellowship.
I have appreciation for
that, and not just not inundate that fellowship with ministry stuff. And so you got to limit the preacher stories, and you can probably guess, some of the guys in our group who we really have to pull about those preacher stories.
Yeah, if I knew the list, I could probably.
Oh man,
I probably can tell you. So y'all, here's another question. Here's a question, you all. A therapist, really? That's what somebody put in the comment. A therapist, really? I am a component. First of all of us are educated and highly educated. So we believe in balancing our life. There is nothing wrong with having a therapist. I believe that that's the problem in the Black community.
Yeah.
We suppress so much. We were taught what go on in our house, in this household, stays in this household. Grandpa raping the granddaughter, uncle raping the niece and stuff like that. And we were taught to hold all that stuff in. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that. I have an open relationship with all 6 of my kids. Open relationship with them, dog. That is the problem that's just me. Yeah. That's what I feel is the problem. Some of us need some help. You've been going to church, trying to shout it out, trying to cry it out, trying to go to the altar and get anointed,
baptize it out,
stuff like that. Baptize it off. And when you go home, you're still depressed, you're still defeated, you're still the same person. You need a therapist. It's okay to go to church. It's okay to read your Bible, but it's also okay to go get some professional help. And let me be Marty Peters, since I'm from Oakland. Some of y'all don't need to see a therapist. Some of y'all need to see a psychologist or a psychiatrist so you can have some medicine prescribed to you.
Yeah.
Edward Wimberly made it clear in his seminal text, Moving from Shame to Self-Worth, that we could be free from the damaging history of our narratives and that we could profoundly move forward into freedom. But there had to be some acknowledgments, there had to be some applications, there had to be some things that we did on our own. We're not waiting for the perpetrator to concede. An apology may not be sufficient, but we had to take charge of what was going to happen next. They asked a pro golfer what was his secret. He said, I had a trainer. He said, you mean you got a swing trainer and a golf coach? He said, absolutely. He said, if I want to get better, I'll have to have somebody who's an expert to help give me an assessment and give me a diagnosis and then give me instructions. If we're going to be excellent, it's going to start with us saying, I want to get somebody who doesn't venerate my position and will tell me the truth about me. Because the other thing about preachers is that we are the greatest liars when it comes to ourselves.
Yeah,
that's true.
We've never been able to be honest with ourselves about ourselves. And we don't do this from some deleterious disadvantaged perspective. We do it because we need everybody to think that we're okay so that it validates the preaching that we give them. And unfortunately, that's not it. We bleed just like everybody else. And because we bleed, let me go beyond that, Marty. Let me go beyond that, brother. Even if you're not bleeding, having a therapist is a good self-care practice. Having a counselor is a good self-care practice. And we need these self-care practices because we do not want to slip into a place. Here's what I discovered. Everything is easier to get into than it is to get out of. And sometimes prevention and maintenance is better than repairing.
Yeah.
Dr. Hodges, one of the things I share with our congregation, and that is, God heals through miracles and medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And in our culture, therapists and counselors are taboo. Go to God, he'll heal it. But I remember Dr. Jackson told us, you sometimes is easier to pay to keep your secrets out of the street. Yeah, so there's a lot of people you could talk to, but then how much of your information is going to get out, especially as a pastor, as a preacher.
Yeah.
And so I always share that there's a difference between mental health and mental illness. And if your diabetes is high, they give you insulin. If your blood pressure is high, they give you amlodipine. To help regulate. So if your thinking is off,
yeah,
why do you think it's so crazy to go that you don't want to go talk to somebody? And that's because in our culture, we've been taught that is you're out of bounds to go and share your information with somebody. So you would rather continue with stinking thinking than to go and sit with someone to help you formulate a plan. And most of the time, the therapist don't tell you what to do. Most of the time, you just talking your way through it.
Right.
And
right.
and yeah,
Lee,
yeah.
Lee, let me reiterate in here and insert this in it. This is for all four of us. Had those pastors who committed suicide, we've had some in California, some in Georgia, had they went and got some professional help, do you think they probably still would have taken their lives? I don't know if we can just give an accurate answer, but perhaps it would have perhaps changed their thinking process had they got some real help.
Well, it just
had
depends.
They had some friends.
It depends because in most cases it is probably not just one thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably a buildup because in most cases, all of us can attest that one or two things we can handle that. But it's when the floodgates, when the floodgates open up, and when you have multiple things and you start to feel overwhelmed, and then if you deal with any type of anxiety or anything like that, on top of that, now you're always thinking about what somebody else is thinking. But I go back to what Hodges said. When you get past public opinion, that's right there. That's the major selling point to all of this. When you get to the place when you are okay with yourself,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
but here's the thing. He also came back and said, when you turn 50. because we think about this. How many of our younger colleagues they're still trying to make a name in ministry? They're still jumping from state to state, trying to get bigger churches, better churches, move things like that. When you get to a certain age, I'm one of the lead chaplains at one of our larger hospitals also, and I like being at home. I used to love getting on the road as Marable would say, and then getting with your friends and say, man, I was in New York last week, and then I'm gonna be in St. Louis next week. Then I'm being then I'm gonna be in Chicago this coming up week. I like being at home now. I like being at home, and I enjoy being around the people that pour into my life. And so I think
Marty, let me say, I don't turn down nothing but my collar.
I'm with you.
Hey, Doc, I like being at home, brother.
Marty, I don't turn down nothing but my collar.
I'm with you. I don't turn down much, but I don't like being away from my kids that much.
And once again, now, Hodges, don't say I won't go, but I'm just saying I enjoy, man, being at home. I used to love packing. I used to love just getting on planes, being in hotels. But man, it's just something about being home. And then, but I think that when we start talking about all those things, I think, Marty, it's a lot of dynamics that go into why somebody would take their life. So I don't think it's just preaching or the church, but I think it's a windfall of a whole lot of things that gets.
Let me go to Marable next. Go ahead, Marable. We only got about 15 more minutes. What do you think about the had they gotten some professional help? You think things probably would have turned out different?
It's possible. Like you said, it's kind of hard to matter of factly say, that what would have happened. But I think we can all agree that having professional help to help us work our way through our baggage certainly has major benefits. So that's my stance on it.
Go ahead, Chaney.
The biggest thing about this would it have had impact or change? Possibly, but I think it's a combination. You got to have the ability or willingness to accept that, to say this is what I need, like Leah said and Hodges. My thing though, where's the accountability? And it's not really 50 and over, it's 50 and under. These young boys, man, young women and young men, they just bunny hopping, going everywhere. The wind is blowing, they out. So, there's no stick and stay power. There's no mentorship the way we were developed.
Right.
We had a seasoned pastor or leader that we could go and just lay prostrate in front of and just bear it all. And they already knew it all before we got there.
Yeah.
So it's a combination, I think, that is missing when you look at what happened or what's happening. It's easy to check out that way. It's easy to say, hey, well, hell, I'm out. It's over. But to stay and do the work is a combination, I believe, of accountability. Where are the accountability partners? Where are the people that say, I got your back, but I need somebody in the front kind of guide me to where I need to be in this process? And I think that's missing. That's the element that's missing.
Yeah.
Marty, I went to a neighbor's house, and that neighbor had asked me to help change this electrical piece. And to change that electrical piece, Marty, you needed a Phillips head screwdriver, a flat blade screwdriver, you needed a pair of pliers, and you needed some wire clippers and a tester. You need all that. I carried all that to her house. When I got to her house, guess what I found out? Everything I needed to change it, she had it in her house already. She was unwilling to use it to do the job that she was asking me to do. Just because we have the tools, just because we have therapy, doesn't mean we don't apply it.
That's right.
So knowledge without application is tantamount to not having the knowledge. Yeah. So I would hope they would apply it. But you leaving your therapist and not doing anything that your therapist has said. Just like my mom will be 82 next year, and her doctor was telling her to drink more water. And so I'm calling her, always kind of needling her a little bit. I said, Mom, you got to drink more water. My mother just swiftly corrected me. He don't know what he's talking about. I'm like, he's a doctor. He don't know what he's talking about. I said,
it's not like my mama.
It's not that you can have a Pepsi, Mom, but you have Pepsi and no water. And then, of course, I told her I have a nickname. She says, what's that? So my nickname is Shut Up, Brian. She said, how'd you get that? I said, from you. I tell you to do what's right. You say, Shut Up, Brian. So
yeah.
That sounds like my mama. Yeah. Sound just like her. Man, Hodges, this is a true story. True story. My mom was sick in the hospital. My mother's on the 4th floor, and Marissa is on the 6th floor. Marissa's having seizures back to back to back. So I got my daughter and my mother in the same hospital on different floors, driving me crazy, y'all. And this was going on for about 4 or 5 days, y'all. They both in the hospital. Marissa's just having back to back epileptic seizures, cold blue and everything in the hospital. My mother had surgery. They removed cancer. And so she was in the hospital for a minute. And so I was talking to Ivy one day on the way to the hospital. I was like, man, my mom and my daughter drive me crazy, man. I don't know if I can do this, man. This is too much of me. And so I think Ratliff called just doing a check-in like I'm doing tonight. And Ivy told him what I was dealing with. And so Ratliff called me. And so I was telling Ratliff the same exact thing. And he stopped me and said, hey, man, you finished? I'm like, yes, sir. He's like, hey, man, when you going to start believing that Bible that you preach every Sunday that you want people to believe? I was like, oh, okay. But he just called me and he pulled me together just that quick now. So it is true that a whole lot of us don't be believing the stuff we preach to our members that we want our members to believe. And then when it comes to us in our lives,
but the thing is, if you keep preaching long enough and passionate long enough, later you're gonna be tested.
Yes.
In what you preached.
Yes,
that's right.
You're gonna be tested in what you preach.
Yes.
The authenticity of our faith is going to be exposed, and what side of the ledger that we land on when we face our challenges, because we're going to face them.
You're talking good, Marable.
And Marty, here's the other part about that. Just as Jesus was talking to the man, he said, I believe. He said, but help my unbelief. That small part that crept in. He said, I believe. And all of us can get to one of those moments where, you have that moment of, as you said, that testing moment. But that's where, as Marable was saying, that accountability team comes in, to refocus you, recenter you, to say, hey, man, when are you do you believe what you be preaching, to kind of recenter you, to be like, yeah. And sometimes you don't even want to hear that, because most of us, we don't like to get checked in. We don't like it. And I got a group of friends, and you know this, Marty, check you in, and then it say, I know you mad, and I know you probably won't call me for a couple of days.
Yeah, we need that though.
But when you think, but eventually, you'll call back.
Yeah,
and that's what friendships and having that accountability will also do. Yeah. It looked like Marty dropped off on us.
Yeah, I think, gentlemen, I think that the one thing that we have been blessed with is we have been blessed with a sense of contemplation and reflection that leads us to certain venues and vistas, a precipice, if you will. that we have come to a place where we're saying, you know what, I need to see from the larger vantage point and not just this granular space that I'm in. I realize I'm playing in a wider space, and the space that I'm playing in requires that I am attentive, that I am cathartic, that I am pragmatic, that I am reasonable and rational. If I'm not, then I will be overwhelmed. I was saying to our group, you remember this, Jay, that we don't live between the bookends of infinitives. Nothing is always a never. And if you think it is, then you're not thinking with sobriety and with equilibrium. And that's the greatest danger. The greatest danger is that we don't always think with sobriety and equilibrium. And because we don't, we have irresponsible faith, or we have ungrounded wisdom. And those are the challenges that will always leave us in bankruptcy in life.
And that's the reason we need mentors and a circle.
Yeah,
Piggyback on what Chaney said.
Yeah. This is great, y'all. People are over in the comments saying this is great. They needed this tonight. It is several pastors from across the country on here, you all. And I thank you all for just being real. I want to get back to this before we go off this therapy piece. Some people think it's beneath them to go to therapy. It's not beneath you to go to therapy. It's something we probably need. Do you all know we will, when we die, when it's our time to die, and I hope it ain't no time soon because I don't feel like coming to none of y'all funerals. When it's our time to leave this earth, we're going to leave this earth with some secrets that people have entrusted us with to hold for the rest of our lives. We're going to leave this earth with people's secrets and people's stories. We're going to leave here with that, you all. So we carry so much on us, and it's different in the Black church than it is in the white church. They have a pastor of almost everything.
Yep.
We really don't in the Black church have a pastor of everything. And so it's so much falls on us. We're our members' heroes. In white churches, they're just their pastor, Pastor Bob or Pastor Jim.
But you know, Marty, let me push back a little bit and say this, that every successful organization is going to have 5 things. It's going to have system, structure, strategy, programs, and practices. And you don't have to be big to have those 5.
Right.
Wherever you are. Marable said it best. That quintessential phrase, bloom where you're planted, which means that in Barnesville, he can have system, structure, strategies, programs, and practices. Because at the end of the day, an efficacious institution is more about how we function with consistency than it is about size. We have some large dysfunctional churches.
And listen,
Again, Hodge.
I'm interested. Hey, what are you guys' practice on counseling at your church? Like for me, and that was one of the things I got from Jonathan Jackson as well. Hodges, he told us, he said, "Listen, if it takes more than 3 sessions, refer out." And that's kind of my practice. And, you know, if it's, because I think if it's more than 3 sessions, for me, it might be above my pay grade. And what I tend to do is refer out, and I have some counselors and therapists that I have linked up with, and then I walk side by side with them. So it's not that I dismiss them, but no, you might need someone to dig a little bit deeper into depression. I
call it spiritual life consultation. And like you, I sat under Jonathan Jackson, and I'm really about 3 to 5 sessions. If I don't see a trajectory of betterment, the first thing I'll do is say, I partner with these 3 individuals. I'd like you to give them a call. We have negotiated a rate for you that's based on a sliding scale. They will minister to you. And with your permission, you can come back and we can discuss what's happening, or you can have them call me and discuss it. I've had people take up on both of those. I know that counseling is not that's not my forte. And I know if I do so much of that, it is going to limit my ability to be an effective proclaimer. And at the end of the day, I'm responsible to proclaim the gospel of God. And that's what I'm going to do over and beyond. I am going to lead people. The truth is, brothers, a good portion of what people could be benefited by came through our proclamation. But they ain't brought no Bible. They ain't took no note. And they did not go home and do anything with it beyond the worship experience.
And we have to know where we are. You know, we may be pastoral counselors, but we're not therapists. Mm-hmm. You know, you have to stay in your lane, stick to your calling. That's a sermon I got. It's just amazing how we try to do so much and we take on that whole empath thing, not realizing that it's okay to say, I've taken you this far. And then like Hodges said, go ahead and make the referral. Mm-hmm. It's okay. We don't have to be super preachers and have all the answers.
That's my practice as well. And my concentration in seminary was pastor care and counseling. But I quickly learned that there are times, a lot of times, you know, people need therapy more so than they need a pastor.
Right. Professional help.
Yeah.
Professional help.
And the other piece is when you've been kind of long tenured, as I have, your church, although there is pastoral difference between pastor and people, you really become like family. Mm-hmm. And so I understand that there are people in my church that have some, you know, I'm big on, you know, guarding people's personal stuff. I don't preach over the pulpit about it, but I'm honest enough to admit that some people, sometimes there's uncomfortability in coming and sitting before me and sharing their personal stuff, and I'm cool with it. And so I have
they trust you, Doc.
Right.
There are some churches where people don't trust their pastor. They'll listen to them preach, but sharing their personal information with and their deep secrets and their deep dark lives. Right. They don't trust a lot of pastors, Doc.
Right. But my point is there are times where not necessarily a trust factor per se, but some type of uncomfortability. And I'm cool with it. And because again, when you're a shepherd, you know, you got the weight of your ministry on your shoulders, the finances, the whatever. And then because you care about people, you know, that you take that load on yourself, which kind of circles us back around to us having outlets and someone to talk to and counsel with us.
You know, Marty, I want to say this last thing. This is a good thing for people to invest in, and the Cash App is something. Let me give it to you, everybody. It's $BRIAN HODGES. That's where you send it to. $.
Boy, that was smooth right there, boy.
I hate you.
That was smooth right there. Yeah.
Oh, I hate you.
You gonna say, don't disregard the chicken line. We're gonna
in
go
a few
with
minutes before we better get off here before I really tell her how much I can't stand you. I've been good all night.
Oh my goodness.
I've been really good all night.
Hilarious.
He is the bishop of stewardship.
Yes, sir.
He came to the Victory Church about 4 years in a row. Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Get it, man. That's what's up.
Yes, sir. Y'all, what kind of sermons, and this is it, what kind of, I gotta go get my haircut. What kind of sermons, yeah, she my barber gonna wait on me.
I know,
what kind of sermons are y'all doing for the end of the year?
You know, Marty, I wrote a preaching agenda for the better part of 20 years. I've been at Gathering of Champions 27 years. I was at Antioch Baptist Church, south of Atlanta, for 3 years prior to that. So I've always had a practice of writing a preaching agenda that governed what I preach. So I write it in October and I start preaching it in January. In 2020, I started preaching through the Bible. And when I tell you, in 30 years, it's been the most fruitful preaching I have done. I started in Hebrews. I am in the book of Jude starting in the morning. I will only preach the first 4 chapters and the last 3 chapters of Revelation because I preached it in my 27 years about 4 times. I've done 4 series on the book of Revelations. I will not do the Gospels because I've done them about 3 times. I'll finish the chapter, go to Acts and go from Acts to Philemon. Then I'll start in Genesis and preach all the way through the Bible. And it has been the most fruitful preaching I've done. Occasionally, I may pivot to do something for Easter, but this year I didn't. I just preached right on through the book I was in. And I know Advent is coming. When I did a preaching agenda, I preached Advent sermons every year. Last year and the year before, I did not. I just preached right through the Bible. It has sparked in my congregation. They know, I'll say to them, we'll be in this book and this chapter next week, so go ahead and read it and be familiar with it. And it has been very, very fruitful. A heavy expositional focus, a heavy expositional lens has been my tool of choice.
Yeah. I definitely, Marable is back. I definitely preach a series every month. It's easier for my people to remember 10 or 11 sermons than 52 sermons. So I'm in a series every month. Chaney, what kind of preaching are you doing for the end of the year?
Nothing in particular. Staying within the the season. November, being thankful, kind of really pushing the envelope and just trying to till the soil here in Vegas. So I don't necessarily do a series. I've done a series, but I'm kind of like my daddy, the old preacher. I'm waiting on Lord show up. So that preparation starts right after I deliver on Sunday. Yeah. Sunday afternoon is turning. So I use an old methodology. It may be a billboard, it may be a post, it may be something, and I just go through it like that. So that's how I'm finishing the year. We only have a couple of more Sundays.
Right.
But then you project forward into 24, though, where you're trying to lead your people and guide your people the direction.
Right. Yeah. Emmett?
Same thing. Normally it's real interesting. I do a planning piece as well. And I'll do well for about 4 or 5 months. And then all of a sudden I get off track. But usually during around Thanksgiving, I usually deal with, being thankful, thankfulness, and then going into the Advent, the birth of Christ, and then going into January, this refreshing, this newness of, recommitment.
You talk to God? I'm just
this guy right here.
Hey, now, once we go off, we still gonna be on with the preachers.
Live mics are do you in, boy. They're do you in.
Yeah, make sure we offline.
Yeah, off the grid.
Yeah. So we.
Oh my God.
No, good. Come on, Marable. What are you doing for the end of this year? What kind of preaching are you doing for the end of this year?
Well, man,
not the December.
So, about maybe 7 years ago, I started doing one of the greatest things. I call it one of the greatest things I've done in my ministry, and that is every December I plan out the upcoming year in terms of my monthly themes. The monthly theme is going to be what I'm going to be teaching Bible study on, what I'm going to be preaching on. And I've been doing that about 7 years now, and it just corners me off every month in terms of my preaching schedule, my teaching schedule. So and I always end every December. Our theme is something around the hope of Jesus Christ, of Jesus, of course. But every December, man, about the same duration, I preach maybe one Sunday or 2 Sundays. I take mostly I preach one Sunday in December, then I take the rest of the month off. That's my my sabbat. I go to worship, but I take off from preaching.
Yeah. I wish I could take the whole month off, but my daughter's schedule is so heavy. My daughter is doing all of Claiborne Lee's services tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Her calendar stay full.
That's awesome.
And she's quite able to, Doc.
Yeah, she is guilty.
She is guilty.
I'm closing out, y'all, and I'm gonna let y'all go because it's almost 12 o'clock in Georgia. The Lord spoke to me this week, man. And I am closing out this year with how to experience God. It's a whole lot of people go to church, but they never experience God.
Facts.
And you can tell they don't experience God by how they treat God. They don't tithe. They come to church late every Sunday. Praise and worship is going on. You sitting on your phone. If you've experienced God, then you should treat God better because you've had a relationship with him. And you've been exposed to him, and you've had a personal encounter with him. So I'm closing out this year, and I'm probably going into January with it too, on how to experience God.
I love it.
That's good, bro.
Is that all right, Professor Hodges? Is that...
In the words of the late S.L. Jones, she's all right tonight.
Listen, y'all.
I'm trying to figure out what artist sang that.
Emmett, tell the people we're going to close out with you all giving your information and the name of your churches and where people can follow you across the country on Sundays and doing your midweek services. Go ahead, Lee.
Emmett Lee, Greater Galilee Baptist Church, Barberton, Ohio.
Barberton.
In Barberton, man. And you can find us on Facebook, Greater Galilee Barberton. You can also go to our website, greatergalileebarberton.org. Also on our YouTube, Greater Galilee Church. And you can follow me also at Emmett Jason Lee on Facebook. And so, Marty, thanks, man. It's always good seeing you, bud.
Appreciate you, bro. You know I had to say something funny.
Hey, man, listen.
Go ahead, Chaney.
with Chaney on all platforms, TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff. Yeah, you got to do it. My son, my 16-year-old kind of runs a lot of stuff. He's a model kind of / everything. So
yeah,
the Renaissance Fellowship Inc. Las Vegas on all platforms. You can find it on Instagram, Facebook. We have service 9 a.m. on Sundays, 1 hour, 9 a.m. I kind of kept the COVID mantra, 1 hour. We get it done and make it do what it do. And that's about it.
I'm about to stab my niece over here. She talking about, 1 hour?
Yeah, you can do it. Remember, I was a chaplain in the Air Force, so you hitting folk as they go into war. You know, it's like, you got to do what you got to do. And
Marty ain't even read the first scripture by 1 hour.
I tried to stream in on him. I was like, Lord, help, Reverend, help.
Look, then he want to sing. Look, then he want to sing a little bit.
Right.
I don't know where that singing came from.
Then he want to squall a little bit.
Look, and they be coaching it. They be coaching him too. They be like, sing, Reverend.
Yeah, they do.
I'm like, is that Marty Ray singing?
There is a reserved seat on the other side of Satan for you. You are Satan's armor bearer. Go ahead, Hodges. I ain't gonna start with him tonight.
It is Brian Keith Hodge, no S, at Instagram. Bishop Hodges on Facebook. Gathering of Champions Church is where I have pastored and been planted for the last 27 years. You can go to our website and our social media. All of it's Gathering of Champions. Our website is gatheringofchampions.org. I love life and I love what I do.
All right, Marable.
James C. Marable on Facebook and Instagram. Bethel Baptist Church on Facebook. BethelBaptistBarnesville.org is our website.
Bonva,
John.
Thank you. All right. He that is without sin, please lead us in a closing prayer.
Guess we'll just go ahead and close it.
Marty, you might as well go ahead.
We're just going to hit exit studio, leave studio.
Yeah, he that is without sin, please close us out of the word of prayer.
We in trouble.
Marable, you flipped off for a little while, so you had to come on, close us out, Marable.
God, how we love you and honor you and thank you for who you are. Your name is above every name, and we thank you, God, for who you are in our lives. Thank you, oh God, for Jesus the Christ, whose precious blood was spilled upon Golgotha's brow for us. Thank you. God, we thank you tonight for this medium. Thank you for this vision that you gave Marty Peters. Thank you, Lord, for the wisdom that you've input in him, Lord, to call us together tonight, Lord. Thank you, oh God, for him being an out-of-the-box kind of thinker, Lord. Thank you, oh Lord, for the love that you placed within him for the brethren and the sistering and wanting to make sure that we're well. God, I thank you tonight for my fellow brothers who were part of this council tonight, Lord. And I ask you now, Lord, that you would bless every man on this platform tonight. Not only, Lord, the pastors that were part of this fellowship tonight, Lord, but every pastor that's been a part of connecting with us tonight. Bless, Lord. Thank you, oh God, that you're going to call those things back to our remembrance, those real truths and nuggets that were shared tonight, Lord, as we go forth from this spot tonight. That, Lord, you'll call it back to our remembrance, that we'll put into practice, that you'll allow the Holy Spirit to bring back to our remembrance something that a brother said, that we may be fruitful in our ministries and in our lives. Thank you, Lord, now for every church. And we pray for every man servant, every woman servant that shall stand tomorrow morning to declare your unsearchable riches of your word, that you would anoint and empower, that lives may be touched, changed, and transformed to your glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Hold on, y'all. Before we go, we got to go ahead and do our Greek calls. Come on, y'all. Go ahead and go and do your stuff. Come on.
11119.
Yo.
Blue fire.
One more time, y'all. They didn't hear us. Hey.
Blue fire.
Ow. Yo.
Well, we calling some shiggity up here.
Can we do the Baptist call one time?
Yeah, I was waiting. The blue.
Is that all right, sweet children?
Well, y'all turn real quick.
It's in us.
All right, y'all over here in the y'all should see the comment sections. It's a bunch of D9 people on here tonight. Hodges, you got folk over here saying blue fire.
Hey, Chaney.
We got AKs over here. We got it's more albums on here than anything.
Hey, Chaney.
Emery Berry is on here. Emery Berry is on here.
Emery Berry, that preaching man.
Reese, what's up, Reese? Bruce, what's up, y'all? A5.
Man, don't worry about that, man.
Hey, man, I love y'all. Y'all preach.
Thank you, Marty. Appreciate you, man.
And I'll get with y'all this week. Love y'all. Y'all have a great night.
Thank you, Marty. Great meeting you, brother.
Man. Thank y'all so much.